All right. Very good evening to all of you. Thank you for a lot of you who have tuned in much earlier tonight. I am seeing the numbers are still increasing. Not too late for you to invite your friends, your family members who you think would benefit from the topic for tonight. So it is our yet another Ask Me Anything webinar series. It has been very, very popular. I think by now, if you see this Ask Me Anything logo, which is on my background, you know you are going to expect something really educational, something really enriching, okay? Whatever topics that it may be related to financial planning, okay? So tonight, in particular, our topic is about how can we protect your well-being in the midst of many, many financial scams that's going around, right? You see it very often. You will get notification, right, to inform you to be careful, be vigilant, right? So in our era where our lives are intertwined with technology, it is crucial that we equip ourselves with the knowledge and tools to safeguard our financial well-being. In a world where financial interactions are increasingly conducted online, how do we protect our well-being? I'm sure everyone has some burning questions tonight. So I request that you type your questions. If you scroll your mouse to the bottom, you will see there is a Q&A button, and our panelists here will be answering it at the end of the session at our Q&A segment. For the audience, we are live on Zoom. We are also live on Facebook. Those who are on Facebook, again, feel free to share with your friends and family members. Same thing, if you're on Facebook, you can type on the comments. We will try to answer as many of your questions as possible tonight, okay? But there are so many of you, right? So do pardon us if we may not be able to answer some of your questions. We will try to answer as many as we can. Before I introduce our guest tonight, I must assure all of you that there will be no selling, okay? Really, AMA series is meant to be completely educational. So let's keep this session lighthearted. Sit back, relax, enjoy your time while the speakers share some of their thoughts, their views on how you can protect yourself in this era of many, many financial scams. So if you are watching us, do share. Again, I remind you to share with your friends so that they too can benefit from this session. All right. So I'm very thrilled. We have three very, very experienced financial specialists tonight. They will be answering your questions. They will be sharing their experience. We have on the screen, you can see Margaret, Eric, as well as Dan. So ladies first, right? So I will start with Margaret. She is our Senior Financial Services Manager. Her number of MDRT winnings, I cannot count with my fingers. Yeah, so many, many MDRT award-winning advisor. MDRT is a well-known recognition, right, in the insurance industry. So she's definitely giving us the woman power vibes tonight. So Margaret, why don't you say hello to the audience and tell them more about yourself?
Hey, hello. This is Margaret. Can you all hear me?
Yes,
That's
very well.
Good. I'm a financial advisor from Phillip Securities. So tonight's topic is an interesting one. We have seen so much news on scams lately, and we are living in a world where there are many scams happening around us. So to me, scams are like viruses. They can be in different forms and they evolve with time. So we can protect ourselves from virus by vaccines. What about scams? How do we protect ourselves? Sit back, relax, and enjoy the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Next, we have Eric. One thing I find really interesting about Eric is that you will often hear him on live radio, Chinese, English, you will hear him. Okay, so he's quite popular in the Money FM, 958-963. So some of you may find him familiar, may find his voice familiar. That's because you probably heard him on the radio before. His number of years in the financial industry, again, all my fingers not enough to count. Okay, so I will leave Eric to tell you more about himself. Eric, to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Eric O, Financial Services Manager. I've been in industry for more than 18 years. I've also been featured, like what Lini said, in Money FM 89.3, 95.8 and 96.3 and various webinars. What I do is to help people achieve their financial goals with my unique skill sets and experience I acquire as a proprietary trader, and currently has a team of advisors specializing in different aspects of financial planning or investment journey. My specialized areas include strategic asset allocation and wealth advisory, investing in stocks, unit trusts, and bond funds, which can help supplement or complement your retirement or wealth accumulation goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Celebrity, almost like a little celebrity, our Eric, very famous on the radio. Now next, Dan. Dan, very good. And another one. This one, I put my fingers and my toes together, still not enough, in terms of his number of experience in the industry. So Eric, Dan, tell me more about yourself. The audience would be dying to know as well.
Wow, Lini, thanks for the kind words. Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. Hope everyone is doing very well now. Thank you for taking up your time to join us here. Okay, so my name is Dan. I'm presently a trading rep as well as a SGS Academy trader. Okay, so my principal is Phillip Securities, and I have been here for a long time. Okay, so I joined Phillip Securities back in 2001 after my graduation from NUS, and I've been here since. So this year is actually my 32nd year with them, and I do mainly traditional stock broking, security advisories, and onboarding of managed accounts. Okay, so as you can see, right, actually 3 of us has been in this financial industry for a pretty long time. And if you all have any question on the financial scams, please put them down in the Q&A section later, and we'll try our best to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Really honored to have all of you with us tonight. Really, we have picked the best among the best, the most experienced among the most experienced for you all tonight. Okay, so enough of us. I will move on to the next slide where we get audience to do a bit of work, right? So if you look at the screen, we will now flash our first poll of tonight. If you look at the question, are you aware about the recent rise of online financial scams? Okay, very easy. So I just need you to either select first one, yes, second one, no, and third one, I have heard about it. So I'll give you some time. Those who are on Facebook are also welcome to just key in your comments. Those who are on Zoom, you can just pick your choice. And I'm anxious and excited to share with you the profile of our audience tonight for this first question, first poll. Are you aware about the recent rise of online financial scams? By the way, even if you Google, they have done polls, or they have done survey of what is the top scams, right? There's love scam, there is financial scam, all sorts of scam, right? Ranking at the top is actually financial scam, right? So hence we pick this topic. It's all your hard-earned money, and it's important that all of you are on top of things. So let me introduce you. In the background, you will see Rebecca. You will see one of the names. She's octopus tonight. Many tentacles trying to make everything smooth and good. So thanks a lot to Rebecca. Wow, look, I've got the answer of the poll number 1. I have a huge 82%. Wow, the audience is very aware of this. 82% saying that yes, I am aware of the recent rise in financial scam. 2% no, I'm not aware, and 16% say yes, they have heard about it. Okay, very good. Let me go on to the next one. Next slide, please, Becca. We will actually share with you the this is very, very recent. This year? It is an article that is on the Straits Times, February article 2023. Scam victims in Singapore lost 660 over million in 2022, and more than half of them were young adults. Wow, my son definitely add to one of the number here, because he was scammed and he's young adult, Sec 2, yeah, and yet he was also scammed, but not much, $60, you know, in his, it's something about 2FA scam, yeah. So I am also a victim, right? I lost $60 out of this 660 million. So following our first poll of the evening, I believe our audience are aware of the recent rise in scams. If you are not aware, don't worry too much about it, because this is what today's session is for, right? As seen on the slide, the number is quite scary, right? And it continues to go up, right? That's, I guess many of us may assume that the older demographic are more likely to fall prey, but that is not necessarily true, okay? So as we learn that scams in Singapore has become more rampant, I wonder what are our tonight's speakers, what is their opinion, what do they think in terms of demographics falling for such scam? I'm also quite curious. Shall we have Dan to share your thoughts to start off the evening?
Sure, Lini. Well, Lini, you see, every generation is different. Okay, I just give you an example. Myself, I'm actually from Generation X. Well, late Generation X. So if you want to push me to early millennium, I think I still qualify. Okay. So during my younger days, right, there is no handphone. Okay, and internet is not so easily available. Okay, so during that time, most of the investment are either bank products or the Singapore stocks. Okay, but fast forward to 2023, now internet is almost everywhere. Okay, and the trend in investment or in financial products are things like crypto and NFT, etc. Okay, don't get me wrong. Okay, there's nothing wrong with all these products. Okay, it's just that most of these products are actually online, and it's actually easier for scammer to exploit. Okay, so it is not really a very big surprise that, you know, more than half of them are actually young adults. Yeah.
Okay, I agree completely. Yeah, because my son's scam is on the phone, right? Which is in a way internet, right? Online, right? Because it is so available. It's something we cannot live with anymore, our devices, right? So it's a potential threat for individuals to fall into scams, especially through their devices, through their computers. What about Margaret? Do you have a different opinion? Do you have a view on this?
I agree with Dan. It's really not surprising that young people account for more than half of the victims, because they spend so much time on mobile devices nowadays, applications. They may also engage in vulnerable activities online, and they do have poor cyber hygiene, such as giving out personal information, such as credit cards, even on untrusted websites. So naturally, they are more exposed to the dangers of all these online scams. So they do also have lesser awareness about scams, and also perhaps lesser life experience. So they may tend to let their guard down. So Yeah, so that's why most probably that was the reason why your son was one of the victims. Yeah.
Thank you, Margaret. That's good. And I think the other thing about the young people, they click so fast, right? They swipe so fast, they click so fast, right? So all the more, maybe people like my generation, I think a bit longer. Which one to click? Maybe that's why they are so
Yeah,
fast. Sometimes maybe their fingers act faster than their brain, right? So
I mean,
so
consider him lucky. It's only $60, so it's considered quite smart already.
Yep. All right. Bex, let's have our next slide as we drill deeper, okay, into financial scam. All right. The next question. What are some common types of financial scams, right? So tonight, of course, we will really focus on financial scam, right? That's what our experts here today would be very experienced. We'll have a lot of things to share with you, right? Financial scam. What are the common types of financial scams that individuals should be aware of? Okay, I think one thing we can all agree would be that every generation is different. While internet is made so easily and readily available to us, having a poor cyber hygiene practices and trusting the internet a little bit too much could make it easier for you to fall into such scams. So, Eric, your turn to speak. What about these common types of financial scams that you would like to share a bit more with our audience tonight?
Okay. In my field of work, what I normally encounter from my interaction with clients are investment, phishing, and fake friend scams. As such, individuals should be aware of investment scams that seemingly promise high returns with little to no risk at all. Okay. Phishing scams involve pretending to be the company which you like to transact with, but linking you to another URL or website that steals your information or banking details. Lastly, the fake friend scam. How they operate is the scammers will call the victims and pretend to be an old friend or ex-colleague you may know, telling you that they have changed their mobile line and then asking you to click on the link provided to install malware on your handphone once they gain your trust or change. What are your thoughts then?
Well, Eric, basically we have covered most of the common type of financial scam that's in the market now. Okay, but I just want to share this point which Lini have earlier said. Okay, scammer target not only the elderly and the vulnerability. Okay, the young and the savvy could also fall victim into all these scams. Okay, so every one of us, okay, we have to do our part to stay vigilant. And when the deal seems too good to be true, I think that's a red flag. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, speakers, for sharing the common types of financial scams with us for a start for tonight. Although a majority of us might be aware of the existence of scams, some might not know the different types of scams, and that's something we definitely have to take note of. This gives us a better overview of the types of financial scams we should be aware of. So if I can take the chance to roll out poll number 2 for tonight. What types of scams are you most afraid of? Are you most scared of, right? The first one being phishing scam, not go fishing, this is how you spell it, phishing scam. Number 2, job scam. Number 3, e-commerce scam. Number 4, investment scam. And number 5, government official impersonation scam. I'm sure just like me, all of you in the audience, I think almost every day I will get the call, right, from plus one, plus funny number, anything but not a number that's familiar to you. So we almost get that almost on a daily basis, right? So what about you? What types of scams are you most afraid of? Again, we'll give the audience a minute to give us their answers. So let me repeat again. What types of scams are you most afraid of? Oh, very interesting. Let me start from the highest number. So I have 59%. Okay, that is the number one type of scam, which is the highest for tonight. 59% says they are most afraid of phishing scam. Number two, 49% are afraid of investment scam. Okay, then we have government official impersonation scam. Oh, I'm from the police. Oh, I'm from the Ministry of Health, right? I got that call before as well. And then 30% are afraid of e-commerce scam, and then 8% job scam. All right, looks like that brings us to the next question for tonight as we drill again deeper and deeper into financial scam. How do scammers typically target their victims, and who are some of the vulnerable groups? Who shall I get? Margaret, why don't you share a bit more on this particular question? Two parts to the question.
Lini. Okay. Target and vulnerable groups. Okay. I think scammers basically they like to play with emotions. So two types of emotions: greed or fear. So greed, of course, it means by giving you, enticing you with money, promising investments with very supernormal returns. Fear, there's usually two types. Fear of losing out. So I'm sure you all have seen before content or online whereby there are limited slots, selling fast, only one left, and we tend to make very impulsive decisions, irrational decisions. So we tend to hurry and maybe make a rash decision. So actually there's no need to hurry. There's always a sale, 88 is over, there's 99, 99 is over, there's 10. So it's okay, So rather be more clear-minded rather than rushing into something. Of course, another type of fear I think we all experience is that we fear that something will happen to our loved ones. So they, if scammers play on our emotions, like something happens to our loved ones or our children, we tend to be more worried, and hence we might not be able to think properly, objectively, and we may make the wrong decisions. So I think everybody is at risk, but more vulnerable, I think, would be older people, because they may not be literate, or they may not be aware or updated of the latest scam. The young, as we have discussed just now, they may be a little bit inexperienced, and they are very exposed to technology and social media. Yeah. What about you, Dan? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, Margaret, I think everyone is vulnerable, okay? As long as one is not alert, not vigilant, he or she is potentially a target for a scammer, regardless of the demographics or the social economic status or even the educational level, okay? Scammer target anyone who will fall for their tricks. Okay, so in my opinion, I think we are talking about vulnerable individuals here, not specifically any vulnerable group per se. Yeah. Yep.
Eric, what about you? Anything to add to what Margaret and Dan has shared?
Sure. Yes, I personally, in my view, there's no group that's not being targeted by scammers. As long as you have internet access or handphone, you're at risk. Because as long as the person have significant financial resources, right, they naturally become a target for scammers. Hence, one should really consider working with an experienced, trusted advisor or investment specialist, especially with regards to investment or financial matters, where the amount involved could be large, to avoid financial losses from scammers. Yep, that's my take.
Thank you, thank you. I especially, maybe woman to woman, I especially relate to what Margaret has shared just now. You know, I remember that, well, this probably some time back in the MRT, you know, when we are packed train and you're standing inside the train and you see those advertisement on the wall, right? First 20 customers will receive $88 discount, or first 200 to call will get 25% off. I'm just wondering, how do they know there's so many hundreds of them here, you know? Who is the first 20? So, you know, it's a marketing gimmick, right? So do they really count? Are you the first 20? You know, so but it is to make that urgency, right? To pressurize you. There's also this uncle in the market. He's selling some cleaning equipment. He keeps saying 最后三个 last three. After I walk the other end of the market, I come back. He's still saying last three, you know, but actually he's got a lot more under his table. So yes, it's one of the pressure tactic which the scammers would of course deploy as well, right? So now we again let the audience do some work by polling them again. I don't know how many polls Rebecca has prepared. This is the number 3 now, yeah? So do you know of anyone who has almost or has fallen for a financial scam? Right? Almost or already a victim. Right? Number 1, yes. Number 2, no. Number 3, I have heard about it. I have a Miss Tess. Okay, I'm just going to, while you all do your poll, let me answer this. Miss Tess. She has a question. Hi, will the recording of this webinar be available as I need to leave the webinar earlier? Yes, Tess, we will actually send the webinar recording to all those who have registered for the webinar. Of course, nothing beats live, right? Live meaning you can ask live questions and I will get my specialist tonight to share with you directly, right? But otherwise, yes, we will send you an email with the recording which you can watch. If not, you can go back to our Facebook page, and because it's live on Facebook, you can also just rewatch the recording. Okay. All right, the poll answers are out. The winner for tonight's poll, do you know of anyone who has almost or has fallen for a financial scam? 39% say I have heard about it, 32% say no, and 29% say yes. Okay, very good. I have audience that's very participative tonight. Thank you very much for that. Let's go on to our next slide for tonight. Our next one to get our financial specialist tonight to share. This one is precious, right? Because they look after clients, they meet many clients. They would have some real life examples, maybe not from them, maybe what their clients relate, or maybe what their friends or family members relate to them, of successful financial scams and the tactics used by the scammers. Who's going to start? Eric, you start.
Yeah.
Good
okay.
to be the moderator. I can just arrow.
Yeah, indeed, we have professionals like lawyers, doctors, or engineers who can be lured into the tactics of financial scam where greed may take precedence over logic. So one famous case in Singapore is the 1.5 billion NV Global fraud case, which happened in 2021. So one of my clients, who's a doctor, asked me to look into this investment proposal of this nickel trading firm. So based on my industry experience as a proprietary trader, trading various asset classes like futures, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, forex, and CFD, I told the client to avoid investing in it, as the double-digit return was too good to be true. And I told him that it's better to walk away from that deal. Fortunately, he took my advice and did not have to suffer any financial losses. Another recent case I just encountered was the fake friend scam. So the scammer called my client and pretended to me, Eric, telling them that I have changed my mobile line and then asking my client to update my contact with the new number. Luckily, the client checked with me first before updating my contact with the scammer's mobile. So the red flags are returns too good to be true, promised by unknown company and unknown person. So what you should do is always deal with experienced and trusted advisors in the industry. How about you, Dan? Would you like to share your experience too?
Well, Eric, you know something, you just mentioned the fake friend scam, right? Well, I'm actually almost a victim of it. Okay, so this is actually a real life example that actually happened to me. Okay, so what happened is that one day I received a call without the prefix +65. Okay, so I answered it thinking that it would be just a normal call. Okay, at the end of the other line is actually a lady, okay, who I think is my friend because the voice is so similar. Okay, it's so similar that I just blur out his name. Okay, like for example, are you Mr. ABC? Okay, so she said yes, and she told me that she actually opened a cafe in Vivo City. Okay, and invited me to go over on a Sunday for the opening. Okay, so I said sure, why not? Okay, so subsequently we put out the phone. So obviously I don't suspect anything, right? Okay, but the next day she actually called me back and said that she had problem, some cash flow problem, paying her supplier. So she's asking like $3,700 for me, and she'll pay me back the next day. Okay, so it is at this point where I start to think, oh, recently there are so many scam cases around, you know. So I proceed to call the old number, that old number of my friend, and to my surprise, my friend actually answered and told me that you know, she did not call me earlier using another number. So that is only when I know that I'm actually very near to a successful scam already. Okay, so it was a very narrow escape for me. So I immediately blocked her number, and and after that, right, I have not heard of her anymore. I mean, she can't contact me, right, since I blocked her number already. Okay, so moral of the story is that if you receive an unfamiliar number, even without a +65, okay, take it with a pinch of salt. Okay, you never know who is the actual one behind the other line. Okay, and always verify. And if they start to ask for money, I think that is when we should be more alert, more vigilant. Okay, and we should actually take up more maybe just to verify them that they are actually the one they were speaking to. Yeah. So Margaret, do you have any personal experience to share?
Maybe I can share my own personal experience. So I have received before an email from a crypto company that I've lost a few $100s in the crypto account. So the thing is, I really do have the crypto account, and I really do have at least a few $100s in that account. So it seems very real. So actually, I was very tempted to click on the email link because you see your monies are lost, right? You need to do something about it. So, but I did not do that. So I was clear-minded. I log in. I didn't log in using their link. I log in via the usual way that I log in, which is the app. So then I realized that actually the monies are still there. So, and then I realized, oh, it is a scam. So later on, I checked back the email address being sent. So it was actually by a suspicious domain name, a very, very long domain name. So that is a very quite a good scam, actually. Make you panic, you know, then you want to check back your account as soon as possible. So I can understand how people do get scammed, because it's really very tempting to click on the link and just log in, you know. Yeah. Then maybe another one I can share. This I hear from a client. So his friend actually shared with him on some investments that have very good returns, paying out very high dividends. So his friend did really receive the payouts and dividends at the promised timings. So maybe it's monthly. Okay, so the client, of course, finds it very attractive because I see the dividends coming in every month. So it must be real, right? So client thinks that it's very attractive, it's a good investment. They top up even more monies. So after topping up, soon one day, they stopped receiving the payouts. And then the company was uncontactable. So that was when then they realized it is a scam. So they do make use of our emotions like greed. They try to build a relationship, gain your trust before moving in for the kill. So they are really very professional and they seem so real nowadays. Yeah. So oh, I still have a funny one. Now I think about it. Okay, this one I also hear from my client. Okay, because we meet clients daily, right? So I have a lot of interactions with them. So yeah, so they also share some things with me here and there. So this one I heard about from a client. So also her friend, this one is her friend, was interested in robo investing. So she was approached by somebody. So at first, right, she was being told that in order to start robo investing, you need to purchase the robot first. So this is very funny because it's very ridiculous, in my opinion, to do robo investing to start. You need to buy the robot first. So indeed, there's really many scams around in different ways and forms. Yeah. So we all need to be extra careful. Yeah.
Awesome,
Back to you,
awesome.
Lini.
Yeah, really good sharing by our panelists, right? I mean, from here you can see the three of them, they are financial experts, but they could possibly, so there is really no one is really like you can totally escape from this, right? All you can do is to be a bit more careful, right? To suspect everything in a way, right? And not just take it like that, right? There is also, although just now earlier we talked about impersonation of political or maybe government bodies, right? There's impersonation of PhillipCapital as well, no? So you see the slides, right? PhillipCapital. We have built a name, right, in the industry. Some of our financial specialists have also built a name in the industry, and a lot of them are on social media. They do a lot of sharing, right? They do a lot of educational financial tips, right? And there are scammers as well. Maybe posing themselves as Dan, or posing themselves as Eric. I'm just saying example, but it is true, right? Until our financial specialists have to then put in their real social media, or if you see any other social media claiming to be me or myself, that's not me. Yeah. So there are really a lot of such impersonation. Yeah, all with the objective of scamming you. Okay, now 8:40, so we have a lot more to cover, so I will move on to the next slide. Can we have the next slide, Becca? What are the consequences of falling victim to a financial scam, both financially and emotionally? I think let's have Dan to start off with this particular question.
Well, Lini, obviously, I think monetary loss, okay, that is 100% guaranteed consequences, okay? But beyond that, right, on a more serious note, I think that the ripple effect is actually more severe and more disturbing, okay? Number one, mental wellness. Mental wellness can be greatly affected, okay? Victims can fall into depression and maybe even develop some social abnormality, okay? And in a worst case scenario, okay, it may even pose a danger to the victims or their inner circle's life. Okay, so these consequences are very serious. So we really need to take care of it. Okay. What do you think, Margaret?
I agree with you. I think financially, of course, it's a big loss. It's normal to feel heart pain after you lost some money. Some may even have financial difficulty if it is a substantial part of your savings, not just $60. Yeah, so emotion-wise, victims also may feel embarrassed or low self-esteem for falling to the scam. Some may feel that they are not intelligent or tech-savvy enough. But this has nothing got to do with intelligence or tech savviness. It's just how these scammers evolve. They are really professional these days, well planned with syndicates. So fake ones, like what Dan and Eric has mentioned just now, fake friend, fake ones are like real these days. And sometimes the real ones maybe seem fake, right? So it can be confused, a little bit mixed up, yeah. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Yeah. How about you, Eric?
Yeah, sure. I think what you mentioned is very true. So because being scammed is not a pleasant experience, as I've witnessed clients who were once positive extroverts become the very opposite. They become very clamped out. Hence, the purpose of this webinar is to help educate and prevent further occurrence of such scams. So the consequences are three broad aspects. Firstly, the physical. So the victims may experience difficulty sleeping, and extreme cases may include self-harm and suicides. Secondly, the emotional aspect. They may have the lack of trust in others and people around them, and thus developing into anxiety, tension, stress, and depression. Lastly, financial losses which are difficult to recoup, and the trauma that may have dire consequences on the victims and their loved ones, impacting them beyond financial losses.
So it's very real, right? I mean, it is while we look at the subject a bit more light-hearted manner, but what we are trying to emphasize here, right? The consequences is real. Sometimes it's not just monetary. It really affects, the emotional aspect and your well-being as well, right? So not just wealth being, but really your well-being, right? So thank you again, panelists, for shedding the light on such crucial topic and consequences of financial scam. So I would like to bring your attention to the next slide now, right? Which is again, we are going to share an article. Becca, can we have the next slide? It is actually an article. Again, this one is even more recent. This is just last month. Avoid online investment ads that don't include company names. Again, this one I can speak from my experience. Sometimes you play games, you play word search. For me, it's like boring games, right? Word search, Candy Crush, whatever. There is sometimes ads that will pop out, right? And mostly it's always about how you make more money. Really, my games are always interrupted because there's all this. How do you make more money? How do you earn how much in such a short time, right? There's always advertisements like that, right? To tempt you. Actually, you're just playing game, but suddenly, this really can make so much money. So be careful, right? This article is trying to tell you that such advertisements doesn't have company name, doesn't have proper, license and all that. Be more careful, right? So I would like to hear from our speakers. What do they think? How do we avoid it? Eric?
Yeah, sure. I'm not sure we can avoid it, but we can minimize that risk, right, by checking if the products or services, right, are actually offered by the licensed company. So the example will include checking the information sheet and marketing brochures with the company or insurer names. Okay, if you see that the advertisement does not include any company or insurance names, you have to be wary. Then deal with reputable companies at their official social media sites. Contact the representative directly for physical or virtual meetup. Yeah, you can also scan our QR code to contact us directly if you have any inquiries later on. Yeah, that's my take.
Anyone else have anything to add other than Eric?
Maybe Margaret, you want to share?
Margaret, would you like to share?
Okay. How to avoid it? I think do not invest in companies that are you're not familiar with. Yeah, always understand what you're investing in. High returns definitely comes with high risk. There's no free lunch. So be careful when the investment comes with unreasonable returns. So maybe you can stop and ask yourself whether this investment, can it be true or not, you know? Then another way that I think is good is that you can be a healthy skeptic. So you can be a bit more paranoid. What I mean is that this is something I learned online. I mean, you know, after COVID, there's a lot of gurus, right? You all know, right? All the YouTube, all the online gurus. So I once saw a video on how to master Kung Fu, self-defense. So in order to be well-versed in self-defense in Kung Fu, you have to assume that somebody is about to attack you. So then you'll be very good. You're prepared for it. Yeah, you're on your guard, right? So similarly, I think for scams, you need to assume that all deals are scams first. Think of it as a scam first. Then you do your own due diligence and research until you are satisfied and convinced that it is not. Then maybe you can proceed. Yeah.
Thank
So my
you,
thoughts, Lily.
Margaret. How about Dan? Any more tips or not for our audience tonight on this? How to avoid it?
Well, I think I'm a bit more pragmatic than Eric and Margaret. Okay, so I'll just share 3 steps. Okay, number 1, verify. Step 2, verify again. Step 3, verify again. Okay, so whenever we receive a dubious call, right? Okay, or whether it's SMS or email or any form of message, okay, the first thing we need to do is to verify the source. Okay, and if you are still unsure, just verify again. Okay, especially when there are monetary involved. Okay, if you are unsure, then you don't proceed. Okay, it's always better to lose an opportunity than to lose the actual money. That's my take. A bit more pragmatic here. Yeah.
Thank you there. So there you go. You have it right. Your step 1, step 2, and step 3. Verify, verify, and verify. Okay, very good. Very easy to remember. So Becca, can we have the next slide? So this next slide, we will ask the panelists, right? Is there any government agencies or any consumer protection organizations that can help individuals report and deal with financial scams? Now, at this point, I just want to remind the audience, thank you for staying all the way until now, but if you have questions, quickly join the rest. We have typed in the questions because we would like to address some of the questions that you have at the end of this sharing session. And at the final part, okay, there will be the tip, burning tip and burning takeaway that you should take from our specialist tonight. So I urge you to type in your questions while we get our panelists to answer what is flashing on the screen now. Who would like to start? Dan, what about you?
So are there any government agency? Well, I think most of us, right, the first thing we need to do when you suspect that, you know, there's a financial scam or you're dealing with a financial scam is to report to the police, okay? Nowadays, it's so convenient to make a report, okay? You can actually make it online or you can call, okay? And if the scam, or rather the suspected financial scam, involve a financial institution or bank, okay, perhaps we may want to inform that financial institution or that bank as well, so that they can take a preventive measure as well, okay? And yes, Lini, I think this is the right thing that we should do lah. Yep.
Okay, Margaret, what about you? Anything else on top of what Dan has suggested?
I think currently there is a website. It's actually called Scam Alert. There's an official, I think it's a government body website. So from there, they have the latest tips and updates from the website. And also, I think you can find a hotline that you can call from there. So in case if the public has any questions regarding not sure whether this one is it a scam, real or not, they can actually get information there or even make a call there. Yeah.
Great, great. All right. I think by now we have answered most of the pressing pointers that we would like to cover for tonight. If I can get Rebecca to flash our next slide, I would like to cover a bit more to give everyone a chance. If you have more questions that we are not able to answer tonight, then we would first, maybe you can later take a picture, so that you know how to get in touch with us. Becca, next slide, please. Okay, so there you go. You have the QR code for everybody. All of them are also quite active to be on their sharing broadcast channels. Okay, if you would like to be part of their sharing, do scan or click to their code, click to their link. Otherwise, just scan the QR code here, which is our Facebook page, or if you go to your Facebook, just type Phillip Wealth Advisory. We conduct our AMA or Ask Me Anything series on a monthly basis. We take burning topics at your request. Yeah, sometimes a lot of the times the topics come from you. Okay, so visit our page whenever we feature and share with you what is our next webinar topic. We will actually share it on the Facebook page as well. Now, I will bring to the next part, which is the most exciting part, okay, which is our Q&A section. Later, I will have by the way, this whole deck, this whole slide will also be emailed to you if you are one of the we have registered, or those who have registered didn't have a chance, you will get this as well. Okay, again, you can go back to our Facebook page, which is this one, to get everyone's contact, or to get PhillipCapital as a financial institution contact, right? If you want to verify if this webinar is real or scam, right? So, okay, Q&A. I think there is this question that is very interesting because we keep covering that part. How do we know if we are dealing with reputable investment professionals or advisors, right? So how do we know that this webinar going on now is real or fake or scam? Eric, what about you? Would you like to answer this question?
Yeah, sure. Okay. All financial specialists, right, will need to be licensed by the regulators, for Singapore case by the MAS. And such licensed specialists like ourselves are subjected to very strict QC in the form of balanced scorecard, where we are graded A to E on a quarterly basis. So as a rule of thumb, a good advisor should be graded A most of the time. So as a consumer, you can also visit the MAS website, register of representatives, to confirm if the person you are dealing with is a legitimate licensed advisor. Yep.
I think that's a really useful information, right? Something like insider news. I think if I don't have a chance to talk to Eric, I probably won't know that there's such a thing, right? That all of them, I thought, oh, but they have a report card in a sense, right, on a quarterly basis, to actually assess, are they doing the right thing, right? Which is very, very important, because we are talking about advisors or specialists who talk to end clients in terms of how to manage their money properly, right? Another one also very much related to today's topic. If I want to get financial advice, or if I want to buy financial products, how do I make sure I'm talking to a real legitimate person and not a scammer? So in a way, it's a bit related, right, to that question earlier that Eric has answered. Maybe I invite Dan to share on this particular question.
Sure, Lini. So, okay, if you want to get some financial advice or financial product, right? I think the first step would be to approach an advisor that you trust. Okay, make sure it's licensed. Okay, I mean, Eric, Margaret, and me myself, we all have a license number from MAS, which is included in our business card. Okay, so you have to make sure that the advisor is licensed. Okay, and if you are dealing with an advisor who you are not so familiar with, okay, the same word, verify them. Okay, you can check them out at the company website, okay, the company that they belong to, or you can even call the company up, okay, to make sure that they are the representative of that company. I think it might sound a bit stretched, but I don't think it's a very extreme. Okay, I mean, after all, it's your hard-earned money, right? So always have to verify. Okay. Yep. So I think verify is the keyword here, lah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I have one question here from an anonymous attendee. How do we avoid advertisements on your phone that Lini mentioned from popping up? I don't think there's a way to avoid that. You know, such game producers, right? In a way, they make money from that, right? I mean, even YouTube, even Facebook, even LinkedIn, right? That's how they survive. It's advertisement money, right? So perhaps for me, at least for me, if I have downloaded a game that in the end is full of advertisement, every 2 minutes I get another advertisement. Usually what I do is I just stop playing that game. I'll uninstall that game. I don't think you can choose, oh, please stop the advertisement. I don't think you can do that, but you can be more selective, right, on what games you download. So let me see, what other question? What about this one here? Targeted at Margaret. What returns are considered reasonable? Short and sweet question. Margaret, would you like to answer that?
Okay. I think there's always a balance between risk and reward. So for low risk instruments like savings, we can be looking at about 3 to 4%. Capital may be guaranteed sometimes. For investments that involve a risk, it can be an annualized return of 4 to 8% long term, or even very strong double, triple digit returns short term. So investments are always not capital guaranteed. So if you come across any instruments that is capital guaranteed plus very high returns, it doesn't seem that reasonable. So please be careful.
Okay, thank you very much. Becca, if you can flash me the last part, which I think is also very important. I wouldn't want the audience to miss out, which is the screen is taking a long time to, okay. So final part, right? Tips from our panelists on how you can protect your well-being. So give us the key takeaway. It's 9 o'clock. Before we end this session, short and sweet, starting with Margaret. Let's have Margaret starting first.
Okay, I think fighting scams is an uphill battle. With AI and deepfake technology, the scams and tactics that scammers use will become more sophisticated. So exercise personal alertness and caution. Remember to assume that it is a scam first, then do your due diligence. Stay up to date when dealing with scams. Just like how we deal with virus, we download the latest antivirus patch, you go for the latest vaccine. You know, I'm not promoting vaccine here, by the way, but I sound like okay, so yeah, so for scams, you can get the latest information from Scam Alert, to find out the latest update and tips. So if you're doubtful, then maybe you can check with a trusted financial advisor. Eric?
Yes, indeed. Fighting scam is a community effort. If in doubt or if not sure, double check the salesperson's credential and the company that they represent, as well as the products or services they provide. Always deal with reputable professionals like an MAS approved firm you can trust, as the consequences of being scammed is not only financial losses, but physical and emotional trauma and scars that not only affect you, but your loved ones too. How about you, Dan? Any final tips?
Well, Eric, I think I'm going to sound like an old broken recorder again. Okay, but I just can't stress this enough. Okay, verify, verify, verify. Okay, when it comes to financial scam, make sure that the advisor that you are corresponding with is authentic. Okay, see if their name are on the company website, and if not, call the company up. Okay, it's not stretch at all. It's not it's not anything extra. Okay, because well, it's your hard-earned money. Okay, protect it at all costs, and it's always better to be safe than sorry. I think I just said just now earlier, it's always better to lose an opportunity than to lose money. Okay, anyway, I'm glad to share with all the audience here that most advisors in Phillip Security, right, are actually shareable in our company website. Yeah, and if you are really not sure, always call up to verify. Yep, that's all for me. Back to you, Lini.
Thank you. Thank you. I have learned personally a lot from the sharing by Dan, Eric, and Margaret tonight. Again, if I can share our contact pages, or contact page again, the many contact points, right? And don't just take whatever you should verify, like what Dan say, right? Go Google it and see if it is true that PhillipCapital's hotline is that, PhillipCapital's customer email is that, right? So do take your time to verify, right? Because that's important, right? If you like to chat with any of them, Margaret, Eric, or Dan, feel free. Yeah, again, if you take their QR code, their link, ensure you verify first. Okay. Otherwise, do continue to reach out to us. We have many ways to reach out to us, be it on social media, be it directly to our speakers tonight, be it to our hotline. We welcome. And that brings us to the end of tonight's session. Okay, until our next AMA series, I would like to again thank the audience, thank the speakers for spending your evening with us. All right. Till next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.